Hi, everybody. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Shiko Talk podcast. We are talking all things F1 today in the run up to the Australian Grand Prix. My guest today is a sports enthusiast. He loves F1, golf, and football. His name is Peter Gishane. He'll be joining the interview all the way from Singapore. Hi, Peter. Welcome to Shiko Talk podcast. How are you doing?
I'm very fine. How is your day?
Welcome to Shiko Talk. I
Thank
am
you.
Shiko. Finally, we meet.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting start of the year.
Yeah, yeah,
We sort of met online last year through the F1 community.
yeah.
So it's good to meet you in person. Oh, I'm in South Africa. So which city are you in?
Currently, I'm in Singapore. I'm at a place called Bedok.
Bedok.
Yeah, but
Okay.
because the whole place is a city state, so it's literally everywhere. It's just within the same town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when did you become an F1 fan? Which team do you support? Do you
Yeah.
support a team or a driver?
So, my first interaction with F1 was in 2007. I think when I heard of a black driver joining F1 after that period of having Michael Schumacher, I started getting more interested and like trying to see how the sport would go. And I would say first I'm a Hamilton fan, and then a Mercedes fan second. So if Hamilton leaves Mercedes, then we'll have questions on whether we continue supporting the team.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what do you think about the current Mercedes situation? Because as you're saying, you're a Lewis Hamilton fan, and there are talks online that he should probably leave Mercedes so that he can get his eighth title. So what are your thoughts about that?
I think um, one issue I've noticed is the team is in a transition, is in a weird transition because in addition to adapting to the new rules that were created to somehow negate their dominance, they're also dealing with a lot of staff movement. And like I think the structure of the organization now is a bit of a shaky ground. Uh, and like losing the some of the key employees maybe has also disrupted their flow. Uh, it feels there's also a bit of sensitivity from the leadership perspective. Like you see, like our team bosses are losing a bit of emotions, which is something I've not seen for a while. So uh, makes me wonder whether there's something bigger that is a problem than just our guy is not good.
So what is happening? Because now Mercedes was dominating for the longest time. Now it seems it's the Red Bull era. Did Mercedes engineers sleep on the job and let the other teams innovate and come up with better cars, or what do you think?
Definitely, the rules have favored other cars than they have favored Mercedes because Mercedes dominance was based on on a philosophy that these rules didn't work for them, so they had to reinvent themselves. And I think we are still they are still trying to adapt to having a new setup, to creating a car, to creating a new philosophy that will now fit into the new rules. And like even the height of the car, I think Mercedes has always been a low height car. Red Bull has always been a high height car. So the rules somehow favored Red Bull. I'm not sure how, but somehow they were favored by the rules. But one thing I've noticed is they were saying that the rules are supposed to come in to bring the teams closer together, to teams all teams have the chance to fight at the top. But feels like it's just gone back to changing the dominant team to another dominant team, not
Oh.
bring like now it seems like Red Bull now can dominate for a few years. Like
Yeah.
so we won't see a Haas fighting for a win. We still
Hmm.
won't see a team like McLaren. They have 0 points now. Don't know how the season is going to be.
What's happening to
Maybe we
McLaren?
eh,
Because
maybe,
Lando is not. I mean, he's at the back. I would expect
There is,
better from him.
actually, it's shocking. Like the team have 0 points, and you remember most times, McLaren starts well. Remember in 2020,
Yeah, true.
they started very well. In 2021, somehow McLaren was somewhere you could, even if they are not fighting for the wins, but you can see they're at least a number 4 or a number 5. Like in 2020, they were
True.
even fighting Ferraris, but somehow it seems like they got everything wrong this year. And by the time they were realizing they got things wrong, the season was nearly starting. So going to another direction. And when the season starts, like uh, the cost cap is a very huge mess for especially for the top teams, because you remember those times when we would go to testing in Barcelona, uh, Ferraris come and dominate the whole week, the whole testing week, and then at the start of the season, Mercedes comes with another car. So now it seems like that's not even possible. So like you go to testing, the car that you go with to testing is supposed to be the car
Mm.
that you're going to start with for the season, for the first half of the season.
I'm just wondering. Also,
Mm.
it seems so last year Ferrari was also starting really well. I'm
Yeah,
wondering the past two races Ferrari is also struggling. So what do you have to say about that?
that's another thing that has shocked me. I expected Ferrari to actually have closed the gap to Red Bull, maybe to point 3 or point 2, like by now, but somehow they are even behind us. Like we are struggling and we are very
They
concerned, but we are doing better than Ferrari.
they're really struggling because like Charles had an early DNF, like the first race he had a DNF.
Yeah,
So the in Saudi he pushed, but when they changed his tires to
yeah,
remove the softs, it's like the
they
pace
had.
changed completely. So
eh,
what do you think they're going to set something up for Australia, or are we going to see the same kind of problems from Ferrari?
I've seen some rumors that they can't run their engine to full mode because
Okay.
of reliability. So I would expect them to continue performing
The
poorly.
struggle.
Yeah. So that's another funny thing, because Ferrari, because last year they had reliability issues, they were allowed to redevelop their engine, I think, over the break.
Mm.
So they would to deal with the reliability issues. But somehow they start the season with the reliability issues, so I don't get what is happening there. Like
Yeah.
now already they would expect some more penalties to come when they use more than allocated resources.
Yeah.
Definitely in the coming races they'll get some more penalties. I don't know whether they'll improve the reliability of the engines. The other thing that is shocking me is them as a car are the ones who are affected more than their clients. Like their customer cars are not as
Yeah,
worse. I don't know.
true.
Haas and Alpha, I think they are still okay. And
But
you saw in Saudi
yes.
something funny happened. I think, is it Saudi or Bahrain? Uh Nico was running very well in quali. Remember?
Mm,
Q1, he was top, I think number 5, Q1, I think.
mm.
Q, but when they went to Q2, I don't know what they did to his car. And then I don't even think he went to Q. He I don't think he qualified to Q3. So it's the same thing I ask myself. Are they worried about the reliability of the engine, so they are trying to reduce its to they are not turning it on, fully turning it on.
So also talking about customer cars, Aston Martin
Yeah,
is a customer car to Mercedes. They have their
Mercedes, yeah.
engine, right? So
Mhm.
what's happening with that? They're really having a good start of the season.
So what Aston Martin have done is they developed their car very well. So the car design is, you see, the car design is like a blend of Ferrari and a Red
Yeah,
Bull.
yeah.
So it's like they took the good parts of Red Bull and the good parts of Ferrari and built a car, and then they have a reliable engine that they are using. It's
Wow.
helping them very well. Yeah,
Okay, so for them, the aerodynamics is working for them. For Mercedes, they
perfectly.
didn't get it right because I would expect if they are running the same engine,
Yeah,
in Mercedes should be at least battling out with them and the Red Bull. And I'm seeing Alonso is very happy to be on the podiums. So there was a drama in Saudi where the number 3 was back and forth. It was first Alonso's, then it was
Then
George's.
Russell.
I mean, what do you say about this kind of rules or occurrences where the FIA are not able to come to a correct verdict on some of these things?
Yeah. So the two things I've noticed. I saw someone yesterday saying that Alonso was notified of the penalty past the timelines that are given in the rule books. That is one. Then two, other teams have had when you are given a stop go penalty, they are not supposed to start working on the car. But the penalty was given because someone touched the car, not worked on the car.
Let me get this straight. So the penalty was given because they started working on the car, but apparently they had not started working on the car.
Exactly.
Okay.
He was just touching the car.
There's no penalty that you get for touching the car.
There's no precedence for you to get that penalty.
Okay. Because that's interesting. So the penalty should be given if they start working on the car. And I also saw it. It was like the guy was running the what do you call this thing that picks up the car?
The rear.
Yeah, so accidentally like touched the car before he could put it under the car. So it was crazy for me also, but it's frustrating for the fans because you see now Alonso's fans were happy that he was on the podium. Then they gave George Russell the trophy. Now the fans for George were happy. Then again, it's just a circus. Anyway, so what do you think is going to happen in Australia?
Australia expect fast cars to dominate because they have an extra DRS zone. I think now Australia has 4 DRS zones, if I'm not wrong. So that means they want to try to. They were saying they even redesigned the track last year, but they wanted to reduce the lap time by 5 seconds. So this year is about the fastest car. So I expect they are the same order. A Red Bull as a winner and an Aston Martin on the podium.
Oh, okay. So you don't expect Ferraris on the podium because Charles did pretty well last year in Australia.
Yeah, I don't expect them to have the same performance because last year somehow at the start of the season they had the fastest car. Even throughout the season, Ferrari somehow had the fastest car on a single lap.
They actually had the fastest car. Yeah, they actually had. Because people are expecting a battle between Charles and Max, but just the reliability issues just got them, and the strategy also. Because you remember the botched pit stops and funny strategy calls. So I think they fumbled big time because they had a real chance of even if not winning,
having a closer gap with pushing the competition, maybe even for the constructors to maybe up to the 2 final races or something like that.
Yes. So, okay. So do you expect any other car to do well? Because it seems the first 3 is already determined. It will be Red Bull and Aston Martin. Which other teams are going to change?
I still think number 4, 5 will be a competition between Mercedes and Alpine.
So Alpine will do better than Ferrari.
I suspect. I don't know what is happening with the Ferrari.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, and I love their car. So for me, I normally if I'm watching on the screen, I can't see things clearly. So I love their car because of the color. So I can
So the color
literally, yeah, I can literally see that's an Alpine car from like, I don't know, even if the screen is just so far away.
now you'll
Anyway,
have
so
you'll have
we're
problems when they change the to the other color.
to the, was it blue?
Yeah, to the blue because they are using these colors for the
Yeah, so I
season.
like the pink one. Anyway, I'm a lady for that. So 4 is Alpine for you, 5?
Then 5 now the Ferraris.
Okay. So Mercedes, you're not
But
putting him anywhere near the top 5.
no, Mercedes, I'm putting them after the
Aston Martin.
Aston Martins. Yeah,
So Aston Martin 3, so 4 should be Mercedes, not
yeah,
Alpine.
yeah. And then
Then
Alpine. Yeah.
Alpine
Then
5.
Alpine, then Ferraris.
So for Mercedes, who is gonna be
I think
P4?
I still expect George to do better.
Okay.
Somehow George is finding the car better for him.
So he knows how to push more.
Yeah, to get more out of the car. Also, I
Yeah.
think this car has not been designed to suit Hamilton's way of driving.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
those instances you had in Saudi, he said that you could see he was holding back. He was not pushing the car as much because he's not confident.
Mm.
That definitely tells you a lot that that car is not to his liking.
Mm. Remember even last year, George was doing well. He was getting uh, top 5 so many times.
Yeah,
So,
and also he was not testing new setups. He was just using his
oh
just one
yeah,
setup.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So what's
So
up with
Hamilton
that?
was trying
I
out.
hope Hamilton wouldn't do that again because they kept saying that he's trying out new setups and what, and
Yeah,
so the problem is the fans get frustrated because the fans want one thing and one thing
yes,
alone, for your driver
yeah,
to win.
for your
So
driver to exit.
if you keep telling people you're trying setups and the setups don't work, and you
Yeah,
get to the second quarter of the year and you're still
yeah,
testing out stuff, you see it's frustrating for the fans. So
very frustrating.
I don't know. So it seems we're up for a long year for Mercedes and Ferrari fans again.
Yeah,
McLaren, we don't even know where to place them
where to
because we
place
have
them?
not
Yeah,
seen what their car can do. So
yeah. Maybe it's a bit early to judge them.
mhm.
The other thing I'm thinking is after this race this weekend, there's a long gap. There's a long gap, but a longer gap to Baku. That can give teams a chance to change their cars because it's not a break. It's not an official break. It's a race that was cancelled. So it's still they can work as much as possible to come up with new car design. That will be the opportunity Mercedes will also use. I wouldn't expect them to try anything in Baku because that's a street circuit.
Mhm.
I wouldn't expect anything to be tried in Miami. Same thing because it's more of a semi-street circuit.
Mm.
So after that, it's Imola. So Imola would be the track where maybe they would come with a new car because that's a representative of of an European track.
Mhm.
That is something they would expect in Barcelona, something they would expect in Italy for Monza. Elliot was saying that maybe in the next 5 to 7 races, we will see a new car. That may be a possibility.
Ah,
And,
okay.
so this gap can give Mercedes this gap can be a season changer for Mercedes, I think.
Okay, so we are putting Red Bull in front. So
Yeah.
Red Bull has 2 drivers. So what do you think is gonna happen between the 2 this year? Because we've seen Checo is really he has a fast car. So do you think it's possible for Checo to win a championship?
I don't think so. They won't allow him.
So he'll keep winning the street races, but he can't win
Yeah.
the championship.
They'll just be baiting him. They'll just be giving him win this one, win this one. But when it matters, they'll still prioritize his marks.
So when you say prioritize Max, what do you think? They are doing something to his car to
Definitely, they'll give him the most optimal setup. And also the strategy will be more optimal for him. Like you'll always see, even if he starts at the back, you'll see that they will prioritize him to have a better strategy than giving Checo the wins.
So I'm not sure
Yeah.
about the optimal settings, but one thing that struck my mind was in Jeddah, they were trying to get him to go slower than Max. So I think the strategy will be in terms of strategy, it's possible to prioritize Max, but I'm not quite sure about the
What
setup
you
of
do
the
about
car.
the setup, because for one of the reasons even why guys like Ricardo couldn't work is because that car now became a Max car. So the car was designed for Max.
Okay.
So other drivers with their different driving styles find it harder to work with it. So that's where the problem usually arises.
Okay. So anyway, so Australia is early. What time will the Australia race be in Singapore?
My perfect time at 3 p.m.
Oh wow, so you are good.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
excited.
okay. So us
Yeah.
it's 7 a.m. and it's on a Sunday, so it's gonna be hectic.
People will wake up and find the races are over already.
Or rather they'll have other things to do, because morning hours you're trying to get
You're rushing to charge.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
have you ever thought of doing something around sports? Because I see you really like anything sports related, sports news. Have you thought of doing anything?
I've been thinking about it, but I'm trying to see the angling that I would come into. Definitely, maybe I wouldn't want to be like to have like a sports reporter or something, not something like that. But it's something I'm thinking about because I think my main interests are football, Formula One, and golf.
Okay.
And when the NFL season is on, I definitely don't miss the game. So like I'm a bit well versed in those sports, in both those three.
Okay, so what if you start something online first before you think about anything else? Because online it's quite easy to start getting audience and learning how to do things. And we see nowadays the norm of getting a whole crew to shoot and edit and what it's fading away. So people are liking more real content whereby they can relate.
They can relate with it.
Yeah, because it was crazy a few years ago where you couldn't even record or put anything online because you're afraid that no, it's not looking good. The quality is not good. I used a phone instead of a camera. You followed my account, so I only post things that I take from my phone. So you see, it's a different era whereby we can easily do things online. So are you thinking of doing something online?
Yeah, actually, that's the direction I'm thinking.
So what will you call yourself?
Oh, that would be the hardest part to figure out.
Maybe because you're Gishane. Is it Gishane, the Kikuyu one, or Gichane?
Yes. No, Gishane, the Kikuyu one.
So probably you'll be sports geek. Maybe of the GEEKUBGIC.
GIC.
Yes. So it's pronounced the same way, sports geek, but it has a twist with your name.
With the name.
Yeah.
A connection with the name. Actually, that's a very good idea. That's a good idea.
Because I see you're really interested in sports, and I like, when you're doing something that is not being forced, it comes so naturally, so easy. So I like people doing what they like, apart from the other kind of work that we do on a normal basis.
On a day-to-day basis,
that just like and love to do.
Like you don't get tired of that you don't even get tired, it just comes natural to you.
Yeah. So it was nice talking to you. Our time is almost over. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Peter, for making time to talk with me. Again, it was nice to finally meet you. Thank you to everyone who listened in. A reminder to subscribe to my channel, follow all my accounts at Shiko Talk on all social media platforms, like, comment, and share my content. And that's it. Good day. God bless.